Alright, hello everybody, Marginal Non-hermit here, and I have a book review for you of something that I think you might like. I'm looking at The Concise History of the Russian Revolution by Richard Pipes. I just recently finished this, and it's a little hefty, but it's a really good book. I kind of wrote a little bit of a review for it. So here we go. We all know that the Russian Revolution is one of the darkest moments in recent history, right? It led to millions and millions of deaths. It led to impoverishment and horrible oppression by communist governments in the 20th century. Richard Pipes is an extremely renowned scholar of the Russian Revolution and Russia itself, and he wrote two long books called The Russian Revolution and Russia Under the Bolshevik Regime that describe in gory detail the monstrosities of Russia around the time of its Red Revolution. However, those two books weigh out at about 1,300 pages with 4,500 references or so. So Pipes created a shorter version, which is what I read and what I'm reviewing here. He stripped out most of the citations. He notes in the introduction that they're available in the other books. So it's not like these are not facts. It's just that he got rid of the section. But the book is still brimming with details and maps and photographs. This book, A Concise History of the Russian Revolution, is a really good introductory text for anyone wanting to understand the history behind and during the first successful communist revolution. Let's see if I can find so there's going to be, there's really cool maps. There's, let's see if I can find photos. There's good photos. This book comes out at a little over 400 pages, so it's not that bad, right? We've got pictures there. We've got pictures of I'm flipping through randomly here, but we've got pictures of officials and stuff like that. The details inside this book are really illuminating and often terrifying. So he starts out with a brief discussion of Russian life and culture in the last years of the Tsarist rule, starting in the really, really late 1800s, talks about the revolution in 1905, talks about the Great War. Pipes digs into this Bolshevik revolution and concludes the book with the death of Lenin. As such, it's an excellent source for pushback against the good Lenin, bad Stalin myth. And it continues with deep looks at propaganda of the time, the way the Bolsheviks perverted education, stuff like that. He talks about the abandoned children phenomenon, which was basically caused by mass blackbagging of political dissidents, and he describes in detail many atrocities of the early Bolshevik regime, including his treatment of so-called rebels, who really were just anybody or anyone at any time, regardless of guilt or innocence. Now, the book focuses on Stalin and kind of ends in 1924, but it also talks about the rise and fall of many individuals, most prominently Trotsky, and the rise of Stalin and others are also analyzed in grim detail. The conspiracies and the machinations of the upper echelons of the Communist Party in Russia are laid out clearly and factually. We don't get a description of the monstrosities committed by the party under Stalin, but that's only because the book ends with the death of Lenin. But don't worry, Pipes wrote a huge number of books about Russia and the Soviet Union, so if you found this one interesting, you'll probably like the others. This is a summary, so interested scholars are going to need to move on to Pipes' more detailed works. But for a brief introduction to this very significant period and all the twists and turns that were part of it, this book is the gold standard. I recommend it highly to anyone seeking to learn about the Russian Revolution and to anyone wishing to see the brutality, the poverty, and terror that are the hallmarks of any totalitarian state. At a little over 400 pages, it might seem like a big project to read, but it's really just a taste of what an out-of-control state with no limits on its power can do to those that it claims is its people, not even foreigners, to its people. So as such, this is also a vital resource for anyone who cherishes liberty, because it is a stark description of what happens when governments get out of control. That's my review of this book. Definitely recommended. And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll see y'all later.